There's a reason most people will never make money online. And no, it's not because the market is too saturated or because you're just unlucky. It's because most people are stuck in the same cycle doing the same shit over and over and over. The internet is brutal, and if you're not intentional, it'll chew you up and leave you exactly where you started, just with a little more frustration and a little worse energy. If you've been trying to make money online and it's still not working after several different hustles, I can almost guarantee you're stuck in one of three different traps. First, and a big one, you're being a consumer, not a creator. Think about this in all ways of life. You're lazy when you should go to the gym and build muscle. You take your relationships for granted when you should be spending time building connection. You're on social media when you should be working. Most people think they're building a business, but in reality, they're just being glorified consumers. They'll watch 7 videos on how to set up a website, but then we'll spend 20 minutes actually doing it. How do you fix this? Well, first, you have to implement before you consume. Start consuming as a reward. If you have to consume to implement, then make sure you take action immediately afterwards. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what to do. As you may have guessed, there's obviously a link below, but you don't know what that is yet. I'll explain it later, so just enjoy watching this video for now. But therefore, I can tell you we're gonna take action after this, so you won't have to feel bad. Next, set a daily execution target. I could be in Africa or Antarctica or in the middle of the Bahamas, but I'm still gonna implement and get one thing related to building revenue achieved. Creating a new email sequence to send out to our email list to market the next offer. Creating a video like this that will hopefully generate a greater presence and maybe more sales. Direct messaging certain consumers or potential clients that might wanna work with our brand and have a presence. Finally, getting the BS and just crap off your screen. I've personally tried too, but I think the algorithm just wants us to stay broke and poor. I get fed OnlyFans promotions and dumb memes and reels and reposts of stupid content that really in reality doesn't add anything to my life. Even if you're trying to learn. If you've been learning for 6 months and haven't done much, you're not learning, you're procrastinating, but with extra steps. And in reality, you might as well just go watch stupid gooner content on Instagram. Because at the end of the day, your bank account stays the same. Second, you're already doing what's oversaturated. I hate to break it to you, but if you're still making side hustles that no one talks about videos, buddy, everyone is talking about them. You have to differentiate yourself. Become the brand that's known for the one thing. Again, Iman Gadzhi is known for lifestyle, entrepreneurship, high class. Andrew Tate is more very traditional values and hardcore discipline. Alex Hormozi is more technical tips and insider secrets to scale your business. What are you known for? I actually went in ChatGPT because I talk to it regularly and asked it to give me a summary of what it thinks I am and what my brand stands for. Now, thankfully, it aligns very well with what I already do, but when getting started, I think it could be a very valuable tool to have that conversation. Just ask, where do you see my personal brand and imagery around the things I like to accomplish leading me? More importantly, what could I do to monetize the skills I have in relation to this personal brand? People also want to make sure you're credible, so stop just regurgitating advice. Share your personal anecdotes. Make them know that not just, the front you're putting on to make money, but your entire lifestyle revolves in some way in connection to the problem that you love solving. Because if you don't love solving it, then you're screwed. You have to explore many different things until you find the thing that actually latches on. A good way to do that is just find a few areas you're interested in, and you can ask ChatGPT what holes are in that space. You could take something like AI and say, where do you see AI going in the next 10 years? And where are some of the major holes that could be filled within? How can I leverage my personal brand to attract growth in this industry? So if you're positioning yourself in a high value industry that's growing and you become a name that will never die until you do, then you're always gonna have opportunities to have money. But if you're copying what's already popular or was trending in the past, you're probably 10 steps behind. The people winning today set those goals last year. You're just seeing them now. The video that came out today, I started shooting probably 2 weeks ago. So take everything with a grain of salt because advice is always slightly outdated. Now, I have to make the distinction. Most people think working hard on that thing is the right answer. In reality, hard work isn't always the answer, because if that were true, coal miners would be the richest people in the world. You need a system to figure out how to remove yourself. If the goal is freedom, which I would like to assume for everyone it is, being able to do what you want when you want and having the money to do so, so. You need to then create something that can remove you and do the work without you being present. Otherwise, you're always trading a certain amount of hours for a certain amount of pay, and at the highest levels, you are essentially still a servant. There's a system I codified to actually make this clear. It will give you actionable advice on how to work your way through until you have the right product and market fit. And finally, to not have the question of what do I do next? I call it the Ascend framework, named after my company. It allows you to focus on that one scalable revenue stream and not over diversify yourself just to call yourself the entrepreneur with no real progress. You need to have consistency and predictability in one area that you become an expert in. But then to implement it and to put the videos out and to do everything regarding it, test a million different ways. Just stop changing your niche. If you don't have a predictable way to make money, you don't have a business. You just have a glorified hobby. So before we break down Ascend, the system, and I explain how to do it, I need to give you a little more information, a certain amount of context, because why would you ever listen to me? I started from zero. No connections, no trust fund. I didn't have a secret blueprint. I built my first company, Daredevil Athletics, the first real successful company I had, from scratch and sold it to an investor, as well as short sprints in other niches such as real estate wholesaling, where I learned to get good at sales on the phone and talking to potential clients, as well as other areas such as digital advertising agency work and working with small businesses to help them understand where their goals are and how to create a marketing campaign around that. I combined the sales and the marketing and the experience with creating a strong brand presence from my clothing company to integrate it all together in an ecosystem called Ascend. At the end of the day, helping people realize how do you build the presence of the company and how do you put that into people's minds and get them bringing out their checkbooks. And just as easy as it was to build a personal social success on TikTok or Instagram as I have, I did the same thing for my personal brand. So I've literally lived the life I'm telling you to live, and I'm still doing it. I started this YouTube just under 2 years ago, and I already have several thousand subscribers. Most people take 5 to 10 years to really latch onto YouTube, but I've been able to have the same success because I understand the system of how to brand yourself the right way. More importantly, I realized creator success isn't luck, it's a system. And just like any other system, you can turn the knobs to optimize it, and I've gotten really good at helping people do that. But I want you to know I don't teach it, I'm actually living this. I'm building, scaling, and putting out my own videos while teaching you to do the same. How else could I have credibility? I built Ascend to give people a framework that I know works for me and has worked across several companies. It's a 6-step process to go from posting aimlessly to having scalable results. You could have $0 a month, 5 grand, 10 grand. It's all a similar version of the same system. And again, you don't have to spend years figuring it out. I did the work for you. So here it is. Again, I have the link below to help you implement this, so just for now, relax and really soak in all the info. Letter A of Ascend stands for attract. This essentially means get the right audience. 90% of people or more, in a lot of cases, get this wrong. Most people think they have a problem with their branding. Brand isn't actually a lot of times the issue. I would say it comes down to audience. As long as you're not directly copying anyone else, your brand is unique and therefore in some ways marketable to some sort of person. You just have trouble finding the audience that it relates to. Your brand is that basic identity, what you and other people think you are. It's the person that you're looking at talking to you on the screen. But your audience, you, is the person that actually relates to my message and stays on the video. To get better at this, I want you to pick one niche. Again, I love talking about real estate stuff because I did that. I love talking about clothing brands. I love, counting different microfibers of shirts and comparing different textures. I love all of that stuff, but I have to stick with one thing. Otherwise, I can't actually give you guys actionable advice, especially in my community, or people would leave. You can have multiple interests, that's fine, and it makes you better. But for your service, pick one thing that serves people with your skills the best. Optimize your bios, titles, call to actions, aesthetics, video production, everything around that one thing. Don't say entrepreneur, hustler mindset in your bio. Instead, say helping creators monetize their content in 90 days, or helping basketball players improve their dribbling in 60 days. Whatever the message is, the thesis thesis statement of your brand. From middle school, you should know how to write that. If someone lands on your page and says, what do they actually do? Then you have issues. TLDR, confused minds don't buy, so be clear. S stands for systematize. Most people treat content like a lottery ticket. They're posting randomly and they're hoping something goes viral. But the people that make money treat content like a machine. I want you to create about 3 to 5 content pillars. Imagine in that thesis statement, the 3 main parts or the 3 paragraphs of your main essay. I actually learned this from the military because we have integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. So everything we do corresponds to those 3 primary objectives of our vision. In branding, you want to do the same thing. Again, think Alex Hormozi is technical tips, is very brutally honest, and is very down to earth and casual. You can tell that from the way he dresses and looks. You can kind of look at those and feel who this person is and put them in a box. Obviously, that box isn't entirely who Alex Hormozi is, but you can get a good idea and you feel like you understand him better by doing so. You want to do that with yourself. You're not going to like this, but make it easy for people to oversimplify you because it makes them feel like they understand who you are and therefore want to take action. Come back later and show them how complex and interesting you are, but they should be able to understand your core message simply. It should be very clear what I stand for and what I do, and therefore what the big call to action is. So soft funnel captions, comments, DMs, everything around your videos in the subsections and descriptions should all be pointing to your main call to action. You're gonna see the big one as the link to this video, which we'll get to. But basically, when people find out who you are, it should be easy for them to know what to do next. C stands for convert. You could be celebrating 100,000 followers while at the same time your bank account is overdrafted. You need to have a clear next step. It can't just be content only. They have to actually take action or you're not a business. We all want to be famous influencers, but at some point you have to have an offer out there or we're not going to keep the lights on. So again, figure out what the skill is you want to deliver and find a way to package that in an offer that's easy to understand and purchase. Again, we teach you how to set up a basic community on WAP or Discord or Kajabi or any platform that feels right for your community. We'll show you how to create course content, how to sell your ad agency, your coaching service, whatever your one-to-one service is in an effective way. But use Typeform, email sequences, MailChimp, simple measures to be able to deliver opportunities for people to actually purchase. You can hope people figure it out and have a link tree with 100 different links in it, but why wouldn't you just have a clear funnel that turns followers into offers with one link? Sales isn't about over-proving yourself and showing a million different things you can do. It's about making the next step stupidly obvious so it almost feels unnatural to even ask if they will take action. Stop overthinking. You know what to do. Don't make more than you need. And if it's at a 3rd grade level of understanding, that's the best opportunity you have to actually get sales. The E stands for expand. When you have the basic system to route people into a checkout, we now have to make that larger. You ever see the creator who works their ass off every day but never actually makes more money? That's because they're still in the trade time for money or manual mode of creativity. There's the grind culture, which is all the discipline, the 5 a.m. wake-ups, the cold ice baths, or whatever it is. Or there's the smart mindset, the smart scaling opportunities with automation, high-ticket offers, and delegation. This is where you start to automate lead generation and sales. How do you find virtual assistants or automated ads that can produce your content at a wider scale and bring more eyes on it than the simple Instagram or TikTok algorithm will? And additionally, how do you build back-end offers that deliver content and keep people paying more money when they already have checked out? It's way easier to sell an existing customer for more money than it is to acquire a new customer. So in this expand or scaling phase, we want to think about how to provide more value for less cost. N is for nurture. Once we have the systems to grow without us, we want to make sure that the people we're actually serving stay around. This starts to get into reputation and the D side of things, which I'll get to, but we want to make sure that we are liked. If you have an online business built around your brand, that brand better be one people care about. There are plenty of brands around people that aren't liked or are kind of the bad guy image, but they still get publicity because they're well known and well respected. Success doesn't come from chasing new customers. It comes from bringing people in because of your reputation. This comes from having great relationships and nurturing your customers. Nurturing nurturing, right? Like a baby, is providing value over and over without being asked to do so. That makes people feel wanted and welcome, so they want to stay. When you feel comfortable that this is your home and an environment where you can actually provide growth to yourself, you're not going to want to have to find a way out. It's only when you're overselling to people or not providing enough value or asking people to do too much in a confusing way that's going to scare them away. Netflix retains subscribers by having Netflix originals and constant new productions that make people feel like Netflix actually cares and listens to their feedback. Other companies would simply lose customers because they're not creating the Netflix originals. They're not providing additional value to compensate when they're asking more money. And it's really easy to find ways to justify. You just have to show somebody what you're doing to compensate the extra value, and it should make sense. Create the free community, free networking, free AMAs, whatever it's gonna be, to make people feel like they're getting a steal. And then keep selling it to the same guys. Stop looking for new people because it's way less expensive. A funnel for this is probably what you're seeing here. Free content is gonna hopefully lead you into a community. The community will lead you into paid offers, which eventually leads you into repeat customers. For the very small percentage, I think it's about 7 to 8% of you that actually complete the form below and are qualified for our agency, we keep you guys in a very long time. Why? You guys are welcome to leave at any time. So why don't you? First of all, I make sure that I qualify only the right people that pay the price that does give them value. And it's not one that's taking every last penny out of their bank account when they're not ready to do so. I have other offers for people that aren't ready to afford that yet. Therefore, the price always seems right for all of my clients because it was designed to be only for those people, and they never really have a problem with it. And they continue getting value because I over-deliver on our services to them. They're kicking ass, they're the top names of their industry, and therefore they have no reason to leave because I'm guaranteeing them the cheat code. But again, I lose value for the general people watching if I'm only targeting the highest level people. And again, for many of you who can't afford it yet, it's not worth letting you go because you might be at a point where you can work with us someday. So I have free community options, inner circles where you can get my presence and time, and eventually, who knows, it might work out for both of us. And again, I have a lot of case studies to confirm that that's the truth. Finally, D, dominate. I want you to become the go-to authority in your niche. You've attracted people and built them an entire funnel to convert them and get them to the back end, where they're now getting a value and they're being constantly reinforced through nurturing. What do you do next? If you actually master the system up to this point, you're not just a creator, you are the entrepreneur. Because you have so many problems to solve in this process that you are becoming an authority. Nobody else can do it as well as you can. But again, you don't know how to build this system, so you need to learn from someone. Most people don't figure out how to make it profitable and to have the coaching system that flows that easily up to D. But when you do, this is what happens. First, you own your niche. You become the big names when you think of every major category of video. Mr. Beast, entertainment. Iman Gadzhi, business. Andrew Tate, masculinity. Alex Earl, makeup and podcasts. Next, you can have a signature method that people actually listen to, like Ascend. And those ideals will start circulating through the community with authority. Who created this Ascend thing and why is it working for me? You become bigger than just a name. You become a system and an ideal to imitate. Finally, you get opportunities to collaborate and have PR, public relations with other creators. You could be a nobody posting content, or you could be the well-known authority getting invited to podcasts, public speaking, anything like that. But at the end of the day, people don't just remember content creators, they remember leaders. You might just be a coach selling a basketball training or Fortnite training program, or you have a full-time advertising agency around your name. If you want long-term success, you don't just create a community, you create the movement. Again, think of Andrew Tate's impact on the world. If you love him or hate him, you have to accept that he has changed the way many people think about the modern society. And that is changing society as a whole. Countercultures like that come when you're at the highest level, and therefore you never have to spend another dime on marketing. Your stuff naturally goes viral. You automatically attract people with content, and you become the go-to source. Loads of money come in, loads of influence, and you are the person. Does that all make sense? Look, watching this stuff won't just change your life, but what you do next will. It's time to look down there at the link. It's a free quiz. Again, we have free services, we have paid services, and then we have agency or really high ticket services. I'm not gonna hide the fact you have to pay to work with us in some instances. But if you're not qualified, I'm not gonna ask you to explore that. So therefore, there shouldn't be a reason for you to be uncomfortable looking at what Ascend can offer you. Because you get to choose if you're qualified or not. The questions are tailored to your responses. Take the quiz down down there and we'll be able to assess and determine what the best fit for you will be. But again, as we started this video, taking action has to happen and it has to be paired with the knowledge. Otherwise, you'll go to the next video and be stuck in the loop we mentioned. Most of you are probably going to be routed to the free networking community with our mindset course within. But at least now you'll have clarity. You'll know how our system works and you'll start being able to take action to create your own. A few of you might be routed to the slightly higher paid community, which sets up and implements an entire system of the Ascend method we talked about in a more technical way. We break down tool packs, how to implement them, how to do things at the very technical level for A to Z. If you have nothing to something, you will know what to do next. And finally, we have the inner circle and agency, where I get to personally give you my time, meet with you, and give you the strategies to be successful that are tailored to your specific business. But again, if you don't have the money or care enough to do that, then start with the free opportunities and answer the questions honestly, because it'll route you there. I want you to execute. I really want this to be the video where you change your life, where you actually execute. Being lackadaisical stops here because nobody has the time for that. I trust you. You wouldn't have found my video unless the algorithm thought you had something right for it. So go out there, kick ass, and understand that this Ascend process is an iterative process. You are going to make mistakes. You're going to have to rework things, but you can have a framework like we show you, or feel free to go out there and do it yourself and learn from your mistakes. With the right determination and the right belief in yourself and not giving up, it will happen. I can tell you that. I am 100% confident in you, and I'm excited to see what happens on the back end. As always, and as you know, I'm rooting for you. See you on the flip side.